Yeah, exactly. Did I make the link on the side?
What?
They put the light on the side.
Okay, we'll call the November 24th meeting of Sauk Haven City Council, or please rise from the silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Here.
Councilmember Brinker.
Here.
Councilmember Compton.
Here.
Councilmember Missouri. Here. Councilmember Stevenson.
Here.
Mayor Long.
Here. Approval of the minutes to the November 17th regular meeting.
I move approval.
Second.
A motion on the floor and a second. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Compton.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. Public comments and requests. Comments from residents or city taxpayers. 4B, use of Triangle Park for United Methodist Church Christmas service.
This is the annual request now from Covenant United Methodist Church requesting use of Triangle Park on December 7th for a small Christmas service from 4 to 5:15. And if approved, I'll work with the organizers to ensure all rules and regulations for the park are adhered to.
Do I have a motion?
Move the request.
Second.
Motion floor, a second. Questions? Comments? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Compton.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. 4C, closure of Leather Alley Citizens Christmas Tree Sale.
You said it all.
Pretty much. I didn't say second reading.
It's true.
I have a motion for that.
I'll move it since they were gonna show up that Friday, the 28th, so it's just at the right timing.
Okay.
I will second.
Motion on the floor, a second. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Compton.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson. Mayor Long.
Yes. Do we have any other requests?
I have none, Your Honor.
Okay. Public hearing on the proposed 2026 budget. Purpose of the hearing is to afford the public an opportunity to comment and make observations on the recommended budget. Comments from the public safety agency and organizations in the city. We're going to go with the police first.
That is correct. If you turn in your budget books to page 26 and 27, for those attending and those following along at home, from the online version, which is available from the city's website. That is the police department. And with us this evening are a variety of police officers and sergeants, the lieutenant and detective, as well as the chief of police and a former chief.
Good evening. I would like to read some of our accomplishments over the course of 2025 and point out some of the 2026 goals for everybody. Some of 2025's accomplishments, we, through partnerships with Road to Peace and other opportunities, were able to send officers to a variety of training for little or no cost. Road to Peace typically really helps us out in that. In collaboration with the planning department, funding was secured to support the purchase of new radios, computers for the patrol vehicles, tasers, and upgrade our current Cody system to a Pathfinder system. And some of those figures are very expensive pieces of equipment. The radios was a county project that we basically initiated to supply the rest of the departments. And Abby, my hero when it comes to financing, she was able to get us over $390,000 for those. The tasers were a bit over $150,000. And the car computers with the new Pathfinder system was right around $64,000. So that's incredible for us. Further opportunities are also being sought for this coming year for body cameras, which are extraordinarily expensive as well. A very exciting thing that's happening is the mobile pay parking options are being explored. We actually have a meeting next week. We are hoping to get that implemented before the end of the year. The mobile pay would be primarily begin with in the municipal lots with an option. The meters will still be there for a time, but it'll give people the opportunity to kind of get used to a new system that we want to explore in the future with kiosks. As everybody knows, we've talked about it before, the parking meters are antiquated. We can't get parts and pieces for them. We're stealing from one end of the town to stick them in places in downtown. So we're really working hard on trying to get that mobilized and implemented. The officers attended many school and community events and continue the connection between the department and the community. With the assistance of grants, we were able to hire one more officer and cover the costs related to the academy training. That officer is here with us tonight. Officer Landon Lose. His official first day will be Wednesday, but here he is tonight. I wanted to introduce him to everybody. Testing is also underway to hire 2 additional officers. One will be able to utilize that same grant, which we still have leftover funds for, to cover the cost of the academy training. And whether Abby knows it or not, we want to reapply in the spring for the grant again to hire one more additional. Objectives or goals for 2026. So I'm going to continue to find sources for training opportunities through funding or free training. I want to continue to collaborate with the planning department to fund the replacement of the body cameras, as I explained. And I would also like to continue exploring the parking meters with the paid kiosks for municipal lots and other areas of interest. We want to definitely maintain our positive relationship with our schools that we certainly have now, and our businesses and the rest of the community. And we want to explore funding opportunities to retain and recruit officers to reach the full complement of officers. With that being said, there is one more goal that we have, and that is the police department that everybody's excited about, for sure. I just wanted to take a moment to discuss the plans for the new police department, and the officers are here with me tonight to show their support for this project. The new police station is not only an investment in these officers, but a huge investment in the community safety, security, and prosperity. Without taking up too much of anything, I just want to point out a few of the many positives of this new building. One of those is improving operational efficiency. It will address the current facility's long list of deficiencies that we have in the regard. A modern and secure Sally Port is essential for safe and secure transfer of those detained and protects the officers and the public. Proper evidence storage and processing areas, which are critical to prevent contamination of evidence and maintain the chain of custody, ensuring criminal cases can be successfully prosecuted. An outdated layout of the department can hinder workflow, leading to inefficiencies in daily operations like evidence handling, report filing, and officer movement. The new facility allows for integration with modern technologies as well. And the new station can be designed as a welcoming, community-focused building with features like a public lobby and a private area for citizens to file reports. A new facility could also greatly enhance our future federal and state funding for equipment and programs as well. Over the past several years, this project has been worked on, and it's been clear to me that 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week police coverage is a very high priority for the citizens of Lock Haven. This facility will help us meet that by retaining our dedicated officers and hiring quality officers in the future. I could keep adding to the list, but I just want to thank each and every one of the members of council for their support on this long-awaited, much-needed facility for our officers in our community. Thank you.
Any question for the chief?
Chief, I just want to say that I appreciate the fact that I saw where you wanted to implement residents of the city to offer their videos or their ring cameras. I know a lot, there was some things on Facebook about, you know, they're not feeling comfortable enough to do that right away, but I want to say that I appreciate that you are implementing that. I mean, just 30 miles down the road, we're seeing shootings in the city of Williamsport every day. And I personally know a situation where that would have been beneficial, where my friend was affected by a shooting in Williamsport, and the residents were not willing to offer their video surveillance. So when I saw that, I thank you so much for trying to get that started.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's through the Crime Watch program and there's a registry. And in the public meeting, I hope this gets out to everybody that we please encourage everybody to do that registry. It is invaluable to these guys. When we have a crime, you know, a lot of times, a lot of crimes that get immediately posted to Facebook and there's videos that the victim will post, but we haven't even seen them yet. So that's very important to us and helping to deter this.
Yeah.
And the more people that are on that registry, these criminals know that too. So they're gonna see that and they're gonna be a little less, maybe a little more hesitant to steal that chainsaw off the porch or.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, thank you.
Anything else?
Well, I guess I'm a numbers guy. I'm looking at clerical staff. Did we add somebody to your paperwork staff back there? It jumped up $12,000 or did we?
No, we have 2 employees. We went a portion of this year without a full-time employee, so.
So it made the numbers skewed a
Yeah.
little bit. Okay, what about the part-time personnel? I didn't think we had part-timers.
The department is authorized to have part-time employees. We don't currently have any part-time employees. So that's really there as a placeholder in case
Okay.
that did become an actual opportunity. But at present with our new hiring, it hopefully will not be necessary.
Okay, and the last that I have is, I thought if we had a full complement and eventually that in the past, we always talked that the overtime would go down because our guys would do their shift and what was needed, but they wouldn't be stressed because of lack of additional manpower. Are you expecting that to go down, that line item, if we finally bring on enough people to be full?
That dollar amount is based on this year's actual overtime estimated through the year end, then increased by the percent raise of the officers. So each year is based on the actual prior year's usage. And the hope is, of course, that it will always come in under that amount, which it did this year and is anticipated.
So you're just budgeting it just in case we need to use it, okay. I'm good, thanks.
The police never want to be the cause for going over budget.
No.
Anything else? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I see the software fee has gone down. We haven't purchased any new software in the currently.
Well, no, we haven't had the need to because of this grant that we were able to obtain to update our current Cody systems to Cody Pathfinder, which is cloud-based. So there was expense there, but it was of course covered by the grant.
Right. Yeah, because we all watch TV and Facebooks and all that stuff. I saw one community, I'm not exactly sure exactly what AI software they were using. But the chief was talking about how it decreased the time of paperwork from 50% or whatever it was to like down to 25%. So I'm not sure what software is out there new and available to, because I'm sure you like paperwork just like all of us like paperwork, and I'm not sure if anything new is out there.
There is a tremendous amount of stuff out there. Currently with this upgrade to Pathfinder, there are add-ons that we can attach to this. But when you get into AI, there's AI that will translate Haitian Creole to, and you can talk through it and communicate with, and we do have some population here. So that's a tool we could add on, but everything comes with an expense, as you know. There's AI tools that are out there that will literally document through the body camera, the entire traffic stop, or incident that the police officer is on, and will legitimately create an incident report that you obviously are gonna want to review for, technicality or for being correct and true and correct. But you really get into a lot of money when you start, you know,
Right.
getting into that. Now, it's all new. This AI is all new to me. I'm sure a lot of you. I would imagine just like anything else that comes out that's, you know, hottest thing on the market, in the next few years, you're gonna see the price of that down, because there's gonna be so many competitors out there. So hopefully in the future, there's gonna be something.
Yeah.
Well,
And then two, I was, last couple of years, I like to see that the mobile pay parking is finally.
I knew you would.
Because our last one was, our last study was done in 2016. So during this transitional time, it might be something that we need to, as a council, try to look into, see how we could, maybe adjust maybe some of our offers of, instead of 15 minutes to go 30 minutes or something like that, or free downtown experience, because I think it's a great time for transition with that aspect of things. So maybe we keep looking at as the new year progresses. So yeah, appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Chief?
Thank you
Thanks.
very much.
Thank you. Okay, parking department.
The chief did speak briefly about parking. I'll just share a little more information. About parking in general, 70% of. 70% of the costs are for wages, 14% for operations, and the balance for benefits. It usually only costs us about $12 to $25 a year for training. For the parking enforcement officers, and they are certified by Weights and Measures in order to check the parking meters for accuracy, which is required by the state. And you can see that the estimates overall for revenues are conservative, as they usually are. And the amounts that are included in the budget, the clerical staff, that is a portion of the police clerk. And so that is separate from the 2 part-time personnel, which show up in their own line item. So anything you see insurance-wise, other than life insurance and workers' comp and prescription reimbursement, anything that you see is all for the full-time clerk percent total, not actually for the part-time individuals. They do receive life insurance. They receive a $200 a year stipend for health costs. And of course, are covered by workers' comp. But the operating supplies themselves are generally supplies to repair the meters and purchase equipment for those.
Any questions on that? Stephen,
No, well, he covered all the, everything. I think Brittany covered everything.
Okay.
So we're good.
All right. All right, so we'll move on to the fire department. Chief?
Okay, so I'll just hit the high points. This past year, our Firefighter Relief Association, they were able to help us purchase 40 new sets of turnout gear, turnout gear washer, and turnout gear dryers. And that saved the taxpayers approximately $130,000. So I think that's a considerable amount. Looking at 26 coming up, one of the areas we were found deficient in on our last ISO inspection was our lack of life safety educators. So hopefully this year we can send a few people out to either the State Fire Academy or Bucks Community College to get those certifications. And so we'll be ready for our next inspection, which is in 29. Out of curiosity, I was wondering how our budget in the fire department here in Lock Haven compares to our counterparts in other third-class cities. And I was able to locate 7 budgets with comparable demographics to us. As City of Washington, they're at 13% for their fire department budget, keeping in mind we're about 10% here in Lock Haven. Beaver Falls is right at 10%, Carbondale 12%. When we get into unionized fire departments, you can see a considerable jump. Butler is at 23%, Bradford 15, Meadsville at 20, and Warren at 28%. So I think in Lock Haven, we're right on where we should be. That's my opinion. Does anyone have any questions?
Anyone else with questions?
I see, where it says down in, there are 26 objectives, work towards 90% compliance. Where are we now?
We're probably about half of that.
That is all citizens. You see what, 6 or 8 new firefighter ones just here recently?
Yeah, this past year, we were able to have 12 members complete their firefighter one.
That's
So-
yeah, that's what it is. And then two, I know that it's been a while since we've replaced engines and tankers and all that stuff. I don't see in our budget any place where we have, I'm correct in that, Greg, that we don't have any place of starting to recycle some of our inventory of all our engines and stuff. Equipment, do we have like a 10, 15 year, 20-year plan? I don't know, I've never heard us talk about that since I've been on council, and I was thinking about this since we had been talking about the mill hall. Stuff like that, I started thinking like, where are we gonna go with that? Because if we have, I don't know, we have 8 units, 6 units, I don't know how many trucks we have.
6.
Yeah, that take a long time to.
Yeah, so it's a combination of funds that would be needed in order to replace any of the trucks. Fortunately, fire apparatus is eligible for 10-year short-term loans, whereas the rest of the vehicles that we purchase, the maximum is 5 years. So that does help spread out any city share that would be beyond what a grant is. Really, at the bottom of your page, you'll see the beginning is the new fund, 003 for fire. At the bottom of the page is the Fire Capital Improvement Fund. And so that'll be really the first time that the city makes an allocation to a specific fund dedicated to fire capital improvement. Any fundraising that's done, things like that, will go into that fund as well. But it is a share of the city's contribution and the contribution that the city will receive from Mill Hall. The overall fire budget now has gone down to $575,000, with the city's share being $334,988. That is not necessarily the reduction in cost, but just finalizing some figures based on participation from other entities like Mill Hall. It definitely is something that has to be done internally. We've discussed the fire apparatus at length for several years. Chief Wooding does have a pretty good plan on how to update some of the vehicles, change some of the vehicles to different types, but nothing has been finalized yet. But it is definitely an area where we have to start looking for opportunities to find funding to replace the vehicles.
What's our newest truck? What age? Does anybody know? 14. And our oldest is
Almost 40 years old.
86,
89.
89.
Anyone else have any questions for the chief? Okay, thank you, Chief, appreciate it. Code enforcement.
UCC code enforcement, property maintenance and zoning combined, about 70% of the funds are for wages, 16% benefits, 13% are for operations, and 1% is training. Training is of course required ongoing education for the building code official and property maintenance officers. There, I know are plans for some updates from the state, but right here this evening, we have zoning officers / BCO / UCC code enforcement / director of licenses and permits, Cindy Walker, and the property maintenance officer, Brian Taylor.
No slashes.
Not yet. The slashes shall begin.
Slashes are in the future. I have just a couple of points prepared, for council tonight. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them after. The city code enforcement department has issued permits, both residential and commercial, that represent over $4,482,000 in construction projects that were started and were completed in the 2025 calendar year. Included in that figure is approximately $750,000 of cost for the construction of 3 new single-family homes in the city. Of those 3 structures, one is currently for sale and the other 2 have been purchased and are currently occupied. Another change in the code enforcement office this year, after 36 years of dedicated service, our clerk, Donna Judd Rezajac, retired in May. She did, however, agree to return to the city in a part-time capacity to become the rental registration, rental inspection coordinator. She deals solely with administration of the city's rental registration inspection program. She currently devotes approximately 12 hours a week to the administration of these programs and ensures that all advertising requirements of the city are met. This year requires that non-owner occupied structures in the 4th Ward be inspected and registered. Our records indicate that there are 193 rental property owners in the 4th Ward. As of November 21st, approximately 79 of those property owners have not submitted the required paperwork to our office. This is a compliance rate of approximately 42%. Although not required by the ordinance, Donna will continue to attempt to contact property owners over the next 6 weeks in the same manner that she has every year. The required registration fee is now $30 until the end of the year, and as always, our goal is 100% compliance. On a side note, to Donna's well-deserved retirement, I'd like to take this opportunity to put it out to the public that for the first time in 36 years, our department is without a clerk. We've reassigned tasks that would typically be handled by the clerk, which are now being performed by the property maintenance officer and myself. Keep in mind that we are both required to be out of the office for inspections, field inspections, meetings, continuing education classes, etc. If anyone has a need to call our office and no one answers the phone, please leave a message. In an attempt to try to reach an actual human, you might delay your responses for quite some time. We do make it a point to get back to everybody. We also can be reached by email, which our contact information is available on the city's website. The city code office implemented municipal permit tracking software on July 1st of this year. As you will recall, the software is being provided to the city through a grant we received from the International Code Council. The grant covered the initial build of the program, which was a major undertaking considering that prior to this point, all records and record keeping were maintained in a paper format. It also included training, ongoing support, and the cost of all programs for at least a 3-year period. The software has allowed us the capability to create an electronic report that can be sent to the county assessment office, detailing information of all permits that are issued. This information is required to be sent to the county and has historically only been sent approximately twice a year due to the volume of copies that were required to be made to get to the county. The software is linked to the county GIS system and can pull property data directly from their website. We're currently working with County GIS Director Jim Watson to ensure that all county updates to the GIS system are made available to the municipal system in a timely manner. Shout out to Jim Watson, who is about to retire and is bombarded with things, but he's making this a priority. We're currently exploring all the capabilities that the software offers and hope to be able to utilize more reporting options in the future, such as inspections, meetings, and other important tasks. We also hope to implement a component in the future that would allow the public access to certain information for each individual property. It would also provide the public access to apply for permits online right from the municipal system. We are also hopeful that one day we can offer the option to make electronic payment through the system as well. The initial build of the software included some very basic functions for other parts of our department, including property maintenance and vacant property registration. Our property maintenance officer is currently working through online training classes to be able to utilize the software and potentially build a stronger program for his continued use in 2026. Speaking of our property maintenance officer, the city hired Brian Taylor as property maintenance officer earlier this year, and he began his tenure with the city on June 30th, 2025. Brian comes to the city with 20 years of experience, 20 years plus, experience in the construction industry, as well as experience on the other end of property maintenance issues through his former employment with a large rental investment company in the city. He's a certified property maintenance inspector and intends to continue pursuing more certifications in the future. He's an active member of the community as a current member of the board of Downtown Lock Haven and is a past graduate of Leadership Clinton County program. Brian is here tonight, and I will afford him the opportunity to speak for a few moments on his achievements over the past several months. But I wanted to make sure that the introduction to City Council was made appropriately by his supervisor. I truly believe that the work that he is doing is making an impact already, and I look forward to working with him in the future.
I don't know what about you there. So I've been here for about 5 months. One of my goals that I've accomplished that I'm quite proud of, with the exception of the hill section, is I've walked every street and alley in the city. Which gives me a good feel for the overall vibe of the city and where we need to pay attention to some things and where we can decide whether or not it should be a priority or not. So through all this, in 5 months, I've sent out 105 notices of violation or notices of non-compliance. Of those, 7 are outstanding. And when I say outstanding, they just haven't been completely resolved. I'm in communication with the property owners, and I think that's part of what I'm able to begin is develop a relationship with the property owners to make them realize that we're all in this together and that they don't want to be the worst property on the block. Because that's what I'm gonna say. We have a couple of outstanding vacant properties that I'm focusing on, that I'm sure anybody could pick a couple out. That I believe we're at least moving in the right direction, however slowly it's happening. We have some out-of-town investors, which can be a challenge. But they're investors nonetheless that are willing to put money into the properties, which is the ultimate goal of one of the things I'm trying to accomplish. I've identified about 20 vacant properties in the city that I want to try and get on the registry. Part of the problem with the registry service that we use, and it's not a problem, it's just one of the difficulties in that a lot of our vacant properties are just owned by citizens. They're not in foreclosure, they're just empty, and they've been empty for potentially generations. Those are the ones I want to try and concentrate on to, one, get them on the list, and two, that's a potential source of revenue for the city that I don't think we're completely utilizing. Not that I think the city should make money off these properties, but if you affect somebody's wallet, they might pay attention and realize, okay, now it's time for me to actually step up and do something with this, be it refurbish it or sell it or whatever. So that's another goal of mine for this year too. Again, it's a revenue source that can help justify everything that we do in our entire department. As far as personal goals, I need to continue my Unicity training and get up to speed on that. I've just started doing that. I would like to get certified as a residential building inspector. It's a certification that I've held in the past that has since expired. So I don't think it would be unattainable for me to keep moving forward. It's something I've had in the past, and I think I can accomplish again. That'll help me help Cindy lessen her burden a little bit too. Possibly even become a building code official. We'll see. I don't want to take on too much too quick.
I'm ready for a slash yet.
Yeah, just one at a time.
And I guess in conclusion, I just want to say, almost every letter that I send out, I put at the bottom, together we can make Lock Haven a safe and desirable place to call home. And I truly believe that that's one of the roles of my position, is to make Lock Haven a safe and desirable place to call home and to have outside investment.
Thanks, Brian.
Not one, but several of the tasks that fell to property maintenance when council implemented that ordinance were items that previously the police had to handle. And these were not necessarily police-oriented things, shoveling snow off your sidewalk. You would have an officer would have to stop by your house, not mowing your grass, those kind of things. So it definitely freed up time for the officers to be able to do what everyone expects as a police officer's job by moving some of those tasks that you don't usually associate with the police back into a property maintenance officer.
Well, I can say that I've seen a difference in a short time. I think one of the things that you didn't mention that makes a difference, you said about revenue, part of the reason that your position exists is because people who are neighbors to those properties, it affects them. And we want the quality of life for all the people in the neighborhood to be the best it can be. And if you allow the one property just to fall in disrepair like that, it makes a difference to everyone in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
You're
as I
making-
said, if your property is the worst one on the block, it's the one that's gonna get my attention.
Yeah. So, anyway, yes, sir.
Cindy, can you elaborate? Remember when we brought a company in from out of state that was gonna deal with all our blight and
That's the.
trouble?
Registry.
Yeah.
That's
trouble
the registry.
registries.
That's
Can-
our registry.
And
That's
that's-
the
Is that
what
what you're basically doing, and we're no longer using that company now, or?
Now, we're only using that company, but part of the problem with that company is their information is based on foreclosures, and delinquencies and stuff of that nature, where if it's just a building that's sitting vacant, they don't really have the information to even know without walking around the city like I do. I need to be the one to point those structures out. They send the letters, they do a lot of the paperwork, but then again, if they don't get a response, their hands are kind of tied there too. But that's gonna come back on me, where I've gotta do some more legwork and maybe physically post something on the property. And by posting something on the property, we're establishing a date and time when their fees should have begun.
So Cindy, do you recommend us to continue with that company or go into the future? I mean, like,
I don't wanna,
because we really haven't like
I don't wanna
heard
answer
anything much
for her.
lately.
I don't want to disparage this company because I haven't had enough interaction with them to say that they're doing a good job or a bad job. I hope we can get more from them.
Okay.
Jeff, to expand on that, one of the reasons that we went with this company is because the company only makes money
Correct.
whenever they get money from the vacant property owners. So a large portion of that money is sent to the city. So we don't necessarily pay them,
Right.
but they retain a portion of the fee that is collected. So
Right. And again, I don't necessarily think it's about the money. It's about the attention. Correct. If somebody noticed you're not doing something with your property and it's the worst one on the track.
Yeah, this year, it's about $2,000 that, the city has received from Hira is the name of the company. And really what Hira addresses is what they're automated to address, which are bank foreclosures. So having the property maintenance officer, again, on staff is who can work directly with Hira. By our calculation, that number should be somewhere around $8,000. So it will take a while to get there, but it's legwork here.
Right.
To make sure that when there is no response, that there is actually notification to the city that there wasn't, and then have the property maintenance officer continue to follow up on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just, appreciation on my part as, you know, those of us that walk the streets on a regular basis, for exercise or whatever. Being able to actually walk on sidewalks in some places, that's huge for me, because I walk before daybreak. And it's nice to be able to walk on sidewalks that I previously was not able to.
We could spend our entire city budget on replacing sidewalks. It's gonna be. a
Well, it
long
wasn't just the
process.
quality of the sidewalk, it was the clearing of the
actual
of the
space.
overgrown vegetation. So thank you so much.
And replacing sidewalks is the property owner's responsibility, not the city's. So,
It is.
thank you. Anyone else?
I do have a question. Cindy, was there, any type of goal to hire, another person to replace Donna, like full-time or?
Another clerk. We haven't had any serious discussion, definitely not, full-time in a. What we're hoping to do is to save the city money by not employing a full-time clerk. The software does give us the capability of running permits through that, running certificates of occupancy through that. Brian will eventually be able to do his notices of violation. They're all things that historically we needed a clerk to do. So that afforded us more time to be in the field. But now that they can be generated through the computer, it makes it a little bit easier. One of the other goals that we're looking to do with the municipal software is to eventually implement rental registration, rental inspections in that, so that can also be generated through the computer. So we're hopeful that we won't need to hire anybody at this point. It's a pretty significant savings to our budget.
Absolutely.
I certainly don't want to pretend to be the numbers person because that's, Mr. Wilson is the hero of that, but I know it's a significant amount of
Right.
money with a full-time person and a benefit package and things like that. So for the time being, we're
We're gonna make work.
muddling through it but like I said, we just ask for the patience of the public and the community. If you call and nobody answers, please leave a message. The messages go, the voicemails go to our emails. So we have the capability of getting them anywhere and we try to get back to everybody.
So do you guys have like a set day that you are in your office then, like making those return calls?
I can't speak for Brian. I try to do it daily. I try to take the messages off my email and then I try to return them that day. Now, if they
Okay.
come later in the day, it might not be until the next day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I try not to go more than 24
Okay.
hours.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I would say that, one, I appreciate your efforts to help save us money, but I would also caution you because there was once upon a time when we decided not to fill the property maintenance officer's position to save money, and that went a long time till we finally corrected that.
Yes,
So please keep that in mind so that we don't.
absolutely. And I do not that I'm marginalizing the.
No, I don't, I'm not suggesting that.
It's just that if we can be efficient with this new software, it's just been a tremendous help. So it's taking, it's taking the old girl a little while longer, than the young kids. to
You're the same age as
acclimate
me,
to
stop.
Technology. It's a slow process, but it's fantastic. So I'm thankful for Abby and getting the grant money, and Abby's also my hero. So thank you. That's what we don't have to hire a clerk, we can thank Abby.
Any other questions? None? Thank you, everyone, for the updates on the departments, helping us to make the decisions. Comments from residents in attendance, since we only have one non-employee resident. Would you like to make any comment?
Good job,
Kristen's not.
Okay, comments from members of council about the season.
Kristen's not our employee anymore.
Well, she's not a resident,
Oh, sorry, Kristen.
so I didn't miss her. I knew. Comments from members of council other than that one.
Great presentations. Thank you all so much
Yeah.
for all your hard work this year and really giving us thorough information about what we've got going on.
Anything else for the budget hearing?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
All right, we'll close the budget hearing. We'll get back into business, unfinished business. 6A, authorization to solicit for bids for the Lock Haven Police Station.
city planner and apparent hero of many. It's here this evening, and, the planner does have an update on the, police station project.
So, as Chief Rickard mentioned, we have been working on the Lockheed and Police building for years now, and with also with the feasibility study of this building, and then adapting through many changes in grant funding and things of that nature. So, that started in 2023. Since then, we, received a funding from the local share account statewide program, the amount of $500,000, and then $1 million from Senator Casey's appropriations, and that was funneled through USDA. So, USDA being the federal program has, has a hierarchy of requirements, so we have been dealing with them the most, in collaborating throughout this year, as well as with Keith Horn, our architect for the project. We received land development approval and have been, or Keith Horn has been preparing the bidding documents. As of now, they are completed as of November 20th, and they are currently under review by USDA, who will need to provide authorization to bid for that project. So, they have no problem with us getting permission from council to bid that. I'm just asking for approval based or contingent upon their authorization, just so we have it recorded in the minutes. But we won't bid it until we get the go ahead from them. That's what we're requesting, permission to bid. Ideally, bids will go out in the latter half of December and be received somewhere in February. We don't have the date solid yet because we're waiting for USDA approval, and we won't fill those in until the last second. And then construction is expected to begin as soon as weather permits in 2026, probably around April or May. And then the contract has estimated 380-day period, so that puts the project completion in the summer of 2027. That's basically all. I'm happy to answer any questions. You all know what the building looks like. We're going with that 2-story design. We did have to raise it with USDA funding above the 500-year floodplain. Little bit of a blessing in disguise, because now we do have that parking underneath, which I know the officers will like having cars undercover. The Sally Port is now in the first floor, and that leaves more room for office space in the second floor. There will still be a public entrance on the first floor with elevator, things like that. So, happy to answer any questions, but we are looking to get this going.
And if I may add to that, Code Inspection Incorporated, the city's contracted third-party entity that reviews plans for commercial applications and issues permits and does inspections for those as well, have reviewed the construction documents. They've been reviewed and approved. So it's all ready to go.
I do have one question. So with the $1 million that we're supposed to be getting from USDA, like, I was a little concerned because Casey was the one that was presenting that, and he no longer was elected official. So we're still getting those funds?
Yes, still getting, it's funneled through USDA, so our contract is with USDA.
Okay.
We know it's through Casey's appropriations, but as far as they're concerned, his name's not on it.
Okay.
I'm very appreciative of him, of course, but, yeah, so through USDA, and then most recently before, a couple months ago, we had a meeting together and we basically signed a contract with USDA, so that is confirmed.
Okay.
Ricker, you had a question?
Yeah, so we have grant money 1.5, correct?
Yes.
The allocation, the 257,000 that's above it, the allocation for funds, police station, where's that coming from? That we have there? What was that projected like?
So that, right now will come out of the $374,016 that's remaining from the 2021 borrowing that was, what would have been left over at the time for City Hall improvements. So right now, there's $374,016.25 sitting in Fund 16 that is listed for City Hall improvement. Some of that will have to be used in order to reach the full amount needed from the 2021.
And then we had borrowed, or we had taken a loan out for, fixing City Hall and that, I don't know, was it 2021? Okay. I talked to Abby earlier and I believe she said there was like 1.7, close to almost $1.8 million that we are going to be using from those funds to help fund it, correct?
Right, and
Then I'll bring this up to this projected, what, 3 million, or what's the projected bid cost that we think that we're gonna come out to, just curiosity?
well, right now, from the 2021 that had $374,000 remaining for City Hall after the roof was put on, and 2,051,000, almost 52,000 for the police station. So right now, the total amount after spending $294,000 to date, the remaining just in the portion that was borrowed plus the grants is $3.2 million for the building. So 3.631192 is the expected amount that we would spend, which includes the City Hall improvement portion.
So all said and done, the City Hall rehab funds will cover the gap, the 3.2 million, because we're projected 3.6, is that correct?
Right.
Any other questions?
So therefore, all said and done, we're all talking about all, we just won't have anything to do it, we won't have any funds left over to touch City Hall.
That is correct.
Can I add, just, the bidding makes it a little difficult and like, you don't really know how much it's gonna cost until the bids come in. But I've been in contact with DCB and reaching out to the governor's action team, like figuring out if there's any support that we can get, in that timeline of where we're at. So hopefully we can snack on some things at the end, depending on when the bids come out at, but we do have a lot. We're gonna reach out locally, a lot of contractors, and I would say have a wide range of bidding. We're part more than sitting online, in the bidding cycle, being in the winter. Hopefully we're putting together a perfect calendar of events.
We're reaching out to the governor's action team for in case there's bid overrun. Are you exploring any possibility for additional funding to help offset our cost? Is there anything else left out there to add on to the project?
Yes, well, ideally, if we had anything additional with that, it would offset our borrowing, which would leave funds open for City Hall. So we're equal to Pine Sky, receive an extra $1 million and that will offset, and if we're not spending all that, we use the borrowing on.
And to be fair, this is 2020 estimates borrowed in 2021 and subsequently not decided by council what to do with it until 2023 in November of that year. And now it is going to be bid in 26. So there has been a significant inflationary increase since then.
And this is my concern, and not that I don't think the police department deserves to have all of this. I just want to clarify that. But here's my concern with it all is the fact that we are working on now year 2026, where we could have already started to create them the space in this building. And they already could have had a new locker room or started the process of getting what they needed. And we're still waiting for a brand new building. So that's my problem. Like, I want to understand that if we vote yes, that this is moving forward, they're getting a new space. But then where is the rest of City Hall going to go if we have no money to give you guys a different space or update the space here? So I just have a lot of concerns to where we could have already created them a brand new place right here in this building instead of waiting 6 years for a brand new building.
The rehabilitation cost for the whole of City Hall is not cosmetic. Which is why it came in at $6 million as an estimate. It's all the electric, all the plumbing, all the HVAC. So all the things you don't see have to be redone, which are the most costly. You can't go backwards in time.
I agree.
So,
But my thing is if the bid doubles, because it has been so long, so now we're at 6 million, where's the other 3 million gonna come from?
The estimate I had from, February of this year was 3.8. So it is slightly above what we have, but that is a current estimate, not from.
Well, I wanted to say, it has been an ongoing issue. And it did start 6 years ago, or it's been ongoing since I started on council. I've been on council for 6 years, and it's been a discussion we've been having, and presentations were brought to us. And when they were brought, everybody on council at the time was completely shocked and awed by how much money needed to be spent on a building that was supposed to have new windows put in it when Rick Valella was the mayor. And they're still the original windows. So if you want to talk about government dragging its feet and things not getting done, this building is the perfect example of that. The heating and air conditioning system that we have here is long since outdated. And when I took my first tour of this building, I was surprised to find so many people with heaters under their desks. And to see the facilities that our police were dealing with on a day in, day out basis, I couldn't believe we got people to come here to work. So for 6 years, actually for 3 years, we went round and round and argued amongst ourselves and couldn't come to an agreement and couldn't get a consensus of what could or would or should be done. And so why it's taken 6 years is because nobody really agreed on what was the best way to move forward. We did finally agree to put a roof on the building. When it was leaking and the maps were getting wet, and every time it rained, somebody from the planning department would have to go and get the maps and move them. So we did agree to that.
So I'm not trying to be controversial at all.
No, I
Please
understand
that. But I guess my thing is the fact that we keep wanting to give them new spaces, but it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So I just want to know that this new space is going to happen. And
it
was, there's some sort of plan, not only for their new space, but a new space or a development here for what is left here. Like, what is that plan moving forward? If we're using all of the money out of the city hall to help pay for the police station, are you guys planning on staying here? Like your offices, talk to me a little bit about what that looks like.
Ultimately, that's a decision for council and a decision council did not make because the decision was to move forward with the police station.
Okay.
There will be some of us left here, obviously. We'll have to try to reduce and downsize to hopefully just use one floor. When the police are no longer here, what happens after that? I can't answer that question because there simply isn't a plan because there are no funds to do any refurbishment.
When I got on council in 2007, in 2008, I toured the facility like Barb did 6 years ago. And at that time, the locker rooms were deplorable. The working conditions were not good. And I approached the city manager then about what can we do about taking some of that lobby and it just rolling things in my head. And it's taken this long to get this far. Therefore, I make the motion that we authorize to solicit the bids for the new police station.
I'll second the motion.
Motion for a second.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So, Chief Rickard, last month had given me a tour of the building, and, it showed me the plans for the new police station, which very impressive. One thing that stuck out to me right away was, this might sound trivial, but they put the break room for the officers in the center of the building, a windowless room, and then the evidence locker was like over in a corner where, in my opinion, would have made a nicer break room. Now, I'm not a police officer. I would assume most of you officers would rather eat your lunch in a room with a window than one without, right? But have the police officers looked over the design of this building and given any criticisms or, or additions to it? One thing that would slow this down even more is sending it off for bid, and once we get the bid, looking at it and being like, we don't really like this.
If I may?
Yeah, you may.
The plans, on those plans that you saw, everything's labeled. Evidence, break room, chief's office, lieutenant, sergeant. Those are just labels. The building, I mean, that's the intent of those things. And I know what you're referring to, sir. That's long-term storage of evidence, which is a larger area we have to keep some files we have to keep for a lifetime,
You're talking 99 years.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying about the break area, but right now, anything would be an improvement from where we're at now.
Absolutely.
And where the break area is set up, it's designed to be near the patrol area and in an area where it's centrally located with no window, but if you look at the plans, all the offices in the front, and then there's offices on the side, it's like a central gathering point, almost, if you will. I don't necessarily think a window is anything that's gonna make or break, and all the officers see the blueprints, and there hasn't been any feedback as far as where, certain things like that are from them.
Okay, that was my only concern.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of on the same page.
Oh, yeah.
This layout works.
Everybody has looked at it, and we've even made some minor tweaks, with Bucart Horn. When there was a room here, no, maybe you should move it here. The secretary's here, no, we should move it over here. So those we've all looked at and have commented about. Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes,
Hey, just real quick, it's what, about 6,200 square feet? I know we're always talking about cost and everything as efficient as we possibly can. If we were to decrease the size, the footprint on it, one, would it be effective? And two, how much would it cost us to do that? Because if it's the price, if the square footage is down, it would definitely cost less money. So the question is, how would that impact everything?
It would cost us the engineering fees, and it would cost us $500,000 because the grant expires in July of 2027, and we're cutting it close to the building being built in that time. So unfortunately, it's do or die right now. We have rated this site plan for months and months, years, and found the most cost effective. We're using property that we already have that's underused. In Fort Hugh, it's not to Heather or Councilwoman Alexander, apologies. To your concerns, we're doing it right now. It's with your vote, we're doing it right now.
The original recommendations from the feasibility study was significantly higher square footage than what is being actually bid. It was about 20% more, so we already have reduced the size and the footprint to get as economical as we can per square foot from the original recommendations.
I'll state, And that's not anything against our police. I think they deserve whatever we can give them. You all know where I've stood on this all along. I think there were better ways for us to deal with this. And, you know, we've gone through contracts now. We've even talked about, can we afford 24 hours? And we're gonna take on another big expense. But council's had its say and they'll have their say tonight. So again, it's nothing against our officers. You guys do great. I want to give you what we can, but I can't. So with that,
I have actually just one more question. On these plans, I know originally there was conversation about having a public lobby that was open 24 hours with computers.
We did not get that.
You did not
funding.
get that, okay.
That was for the PA broadband. That was in addition for that, because it's a broadband open access platform. It would have been added in the front vestibule there on the first floor, but I mean, it could be added in the future. I mean, with the new construction.
Yeah. I just was also thinking that since we've been trying to find a warming shelter place, that may work in that regard as well, but I don't think it's quite big enough for that, so.
all right, call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander,
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon,
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker,
No.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson,
Yes.
Mayor Long.
No. Six B, consideration of resolution number 2025-43.
This is the, here it is. This is the final resolution for the adoption of the intermunicipal agreement with the Borough of Mill Hall. Council received some requested edits from the Borough of Mill Hall, which was included in a prior packet. That went to the Fire Advisory Board, who agreed to make some of those changes. This has been approved by and recommended for adoption by the Fire Advisory Board. And so it comes to council tonight and will go to Mill Hall this week as well.
Do I have a motion?
Question.
Sure.
On the resolution on number 2, it says intergovernmental agreement, a cooperation agreement, which is attached. That's what I would like to address. And I think the resolution is okay with that in it, but on the intergovernmental cooperation agreement, we asked them to take out the extra inner workings of things, and it's still there. Number 2, 3, and 4 could be eliminated, and I would support a resolution with that cooperative agreement if that was removed. And then the second thing, but it's a different line item under unfinished business that I'll address that at that time, but that there's no reason to have some of that in there, those 3 things, 2, 3, and 4.
So you're asking, are you making a motion to pass it without those things in it? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, we have a
Move the
motion
resolution.
in that way. Does anybody want to second that motion?
Steve, are you talking about the disbursement of the 25% to citizens, 25 to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's internal stuff. We'll do that, but that's our business, doesn't need to be in the agreement. That's between us and the stations, not with Mount Hall Borough. I don't think it's appropriate to be in our agreement.
In all fairness, you had asked for that to be removed, but that is not the version that council adopted. Council adopted this version that did include that,
Which can be amended tonight,
which can be amended tonight.
and I've done that
But
through motion.
when you said we asked, it wasn't council that asked.
No, well,
Was
I
there
think
consensus?
we asked the Fire Advisory Board to remove that, and they did
Well,
not.
you asked.
Yes,
Council did not ask the fire.
okay, we.
I think it's important to be in there because it shows then how the funds are being divided up. especially since, you know, they're, again, 25% of it is going to the city for administration fees, so I do think
But it
that,
doesn't have anything to do with Mount Borough
I do
in the
think
agreement.
that, I do think it should be in there.
Okay, so I have a motion this way. Do I have a second?
I'll second the vote.
There's a second on the floor. So the motion is passed without those in there. So if you're voting for this, you're voting to do it without that in. If you vote no, we can always address it, you know, in another way. Okay? So any other comments before we vote?
I guess I just want to understand. I understand Steve's objection. He's objecting to us telling Mill Hall Borough how we're going to use their money. Heather's saying, I think we should tell Mill Hall Borough how we're going to apply the funds. That it seems like it's okay, and I don't necessarily think it's such a big deal either way, so I don't exactly know.
How to vote? That's your choice when it
I
comes
wasn't
time.
expecting this.
So,
Let's
It's just if you contract to somebody, you tell them how much it costs, because you're gonna run something for them, and you don't have to tell them every little detail of how it has to be run, and it takes away
Go
your
ahead.
flexibility.
so I'm with Heather on this one. Anytime you're working with a grant or a government agency, you have to say this much is going to admin fees. Because if they come back later and they're like, you only spent $15,000 on fire, where did all the rest of this go? And then they get upset because some of it went to admin fees. Like, this is a cover our butts situation.
Well, it's transparency.
Yeah.
Anything else, any other comment? All right, call for the vote on that motion.
Councilmember Alexander.
No.
Councilmember Brandon.
No.
Councilmember Brinkman.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Let's vote now. They already passed it, didn't they?
Yeah.
No. So that passed, correct?
Yes.
So it passes without those parts in that agreement. Okay, 6C, appointment of the Mill Hall District Chief and Captain.
The Lock Haven Fire Advisory Board has made a recommendation to council for Sean Fleckner for the position of District Chief of the newly formed Mill Hall Fire District. Sean meets all qualifications set forth by the city of Lock Haven. The Fire Advisory Board is also recommending William Harbor for the position of Captain of the newly formed Mill Hall Fire District. Will meets all the current qualifications set forth by the city of Lock Haven. These appointments would take effect January 1st with the new agreement.
I think.
You wanted to comment on this, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not trying to second guess the fire advisory board or the chief. With all due respect, I'm not sure we need to rewrite the system for this, to create additional, positions. I think we should use the existing system that we have of officers. We're not top heavy, but we keep adding officers. I'm not sure we need a district chief. It's one of the things that Mill Hall asked us. We checked a few of the things off and the fire advisory board took some off. But they asked specifically to remove number 6 altogether. Doesn't feel the need for a district or a district chief, a new district chief. Under the current system, if the citizens got called to Mill Hall, the existing officers would have a district chief already, captains, lieutenants, sergeants, so what? You know, on down the line, there's no use in redoing. And then there's the question of, are we still thinking of putting a piece of equipment up there?
Yes.
We are. So the process, like other communities around it that have stations, is they dispatch the pilot station and the main station at the same time. And if the pilot station gets out to go to the call, you cancel the other one. I mean, a lot of people do that. So there's no use of sitting waiting. If we're gonna service Mill Hall, And it takes them 10 minutes to get that first piece out that's in Mount Hall, or it doesn't get out, then you still have to call the citizens and get them to respond. Now you're talking another 4 or 5 minutes till the manpower comes and they actually physically drive that far. So if we're servicing them, the piece in Mount Hall and the citizens should go at the same time on dispatch. Well, they already have their bank of officers already. So I think they should just dispatch it, make it a 6-4 box. Is that possible to do that instead of making it a complete different station 46 and all the other dispatching and the equipment, and just incorporate it into the system, and things will, I think, will go so much easier. But it should be a dual response. The other thing is, you gotta go get another district chief. When he comes back and actually fight fires in the city, is he automatically demoted to captain or lieutenant? Or is he still a district chief when he comes down here to fight fires? I mean, he belongs here anyway, so he does fight fires in the city. So now he's wearing 2 helmets. Speaking of helmet, they're $600 and the shield's $100. So now you have another $700 in a district chief that you're creating. And in the budget, you have $360 to pay out to a district chief. The other way, you pay him as a captain, lieutenant, they're in the system, but he's already an officer now, but he would have the rank of captain in Mount Hall area. But everybody that goes up there is still under the same officership. I just think they look that it's too convoluted and busy. And I think there's just an easier way to do it. And so the only thing I disagree with is promoting to a district chief and to a captain. I think we should just use the existing officers that we.
Chief, would you mind, I'm sorry if I'm skipping over you.
And there may be things that I didn't realize, so I appreciate your input.
I'm not really sure which of those questions to answer or what they have to do with this actual appointment. But this is a recommendation from the Fire Advisory Board, which is made up of 2 representatives from citizens, 2 representatives from East Side, and the department chief sitting here this evening. So they have all had their input on this recommendation this evening. So.
And what I was gonna do was ask the chief if he could give us the thought process behind what that recommendation was.
Yes, so our main concern is getting spread too thin. Keeping in mind, those positions up there would be volunteer. So the chances of both those officers being up there is very slim at the same time. If they're doing what they're supposed to be doing up there in that district, that's going to be plenty of work for 2 volunteers to manage. We didn't want to burden ourselves down here with taking on more responsibility up there, if that makes sense. So that was the mindset behind creating an additional fire district up there.
Yes, sir.
Currently, where does Sean and William live at and where do they serve at?
Sean lives in Baldwin Township. He's a member of the Citizens. Will Harbor lives in Millhall Borough, and he's a member of East Side.
And you said about putting an engine up there. Where will that be stored?
At the Borough Building.
I thought they did not want a engine.
They didn't want a second engine tank.
They only want one.
You're right.
Any other questions? Well, does someone want to offer a motion?
Well, I thought we would have more discussion than this, but I just see duplication of services. It's the burden is on the station that's closest to handle it anyway. More than likely, they're gonna have manpower from there going up because 2 guys can't handle every call. So even if it's a lift assist or if it's a medical emergency, a structure fire, everybody goes and they'll have way more chiefs than they will Indians. So, you have to watch the overload at the top too. What I didn't get answered, what are they gonna be when they come back down to the city?
Be just like how it is now. So let's say there's a fire up in the Citizens District. Jake Ness is the district chief down at East Side. If he gets up there, then he would be the second command if Eric's not available. Then just be like them coming down here.
And everyone's in agreement to that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And we do have 5 or 6 members that live up there in Mill Hole area. So the plan is for them to basically run their own station up there and run those calls. Obviously, we'll have to come up for some of them, but
I make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor is to approve the appointments, correct? That's your motion?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I got a question. Are either one of them drivers?
yes,
They're both drivers?
yes.
But the system is, if you're driving, you don't leave your piece to run the fire or do anything until you're relieved by somebody that's qualified to take your place.
So,
So if Tyler drives the truck, the ladder truck to the call, he stands by that until somebody relieves him that's qualified to run it. He can't run in and be chief and run that piece of equipment at the same time. So they would have to do the same thing.
all right, so just throwing this out. How many of Mill Hall or Citizens or East Side are planning to join Sean and William to make a fire company in Mill Hall?
I'm not really making a fire company.
That's not the.
No,
it's
but
a- It's a fire district. It's not
Okay,
a whole-
fire
it's not a new
district,
company.
a fire, okay, so my words. Okay, so we got drivers, we got an engine, we got 2 going up there from our neck of the woods. How many other ones are we
I think you just mentioned a little bit
hoping
earlier.
that are going to go? So what I'm saying is, we're promoting people in position with nobody supporting them. Am I correct with that?
No,
That's what I'm trying to understand the vision with this. So what I'm seeing is we got 2 people going, we got an engine going. And how many people? So Sean is the one driving and nobody comes to help in Mill Hall with him. He's stuck on the engine. Am I right with that?
That's how it's supposed to be.
So then where do we go? So I'm just trying to get the whole picture here, because I know that if we pass this, then we have 2 individuals, one from Citizen, one from East Side, both can drive that engine. But if we have nobody else from the Mill Hall area coming in, then what do we do?
we have 5 or 6 members that live up there. So they will come out, get the apparatus. They're all drivers currently.
Okay.
So it's not just going to be them 2 all the time.
One relief and the rest are auxiliary.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of them is employed by the borough full time, so he's going to be up there during daylight hours.
And he's our relief driver.
So we pay our relief drivers when they're volunteering too, right? When they're
No,
on
we
the
pay
call.
them when they're on.
When they're on a
shift.
call. If they come to a call in the middle of the night, don't we pay them?
We do.
So we'll be paying him for 2 jobs, at the borough and the fire company.
We already do.
Yeah.
He's a relief
Responded.
driver. He's a relief driver. So he's not an auxiliary driver. He's
Right.
a permanent, part-time position.
Yes, I did it
We
for
already-
17 years.
Right.
So
But we already do pay him. Is that the point you're making?
I'm saying so will be Merrill Hall Borough. Right now, the relief drivers get paid whenever they go to any call.
If you respond while you're on the clock, your home employer pays you. You don't get to double dip. We had that happen here just last week. We had an employee who is a full-time employee of the city of Lock Haven, responded to a fire call. The city continued to pay him while he responded to that fire. He is also a relief driver. He did not get to charge us double the
For relief
wage.
driver.
You only get paid one,
Yeah, but after hours, we'll be paying them to take calls up there.
which we do now. Because he's a relief driver.
And that was factored into that admin fee that we're charging Mill Hall. We accounted for the overtime of that potential position.
Okay, I was just saying it's easier to incorporate it within the system instead of trying to create another whole system of bureaucratic bog you down on on this, all this other stuff that, and that's why if we didn't vote for these appointments, they could be in a lesser rank and they'd still do the same thing. And we would be fulfilling what Mel Hall asked us to do as part of the agreement. So now we have, we're trying to satisfy them too. That's why it's a negotiation. They asked us to offer, we did, they counter offered, and now we're telling them, no, we're gonna force somebody on you, brand new. So
I understand where you're coming
I
from.
wanna,
Glad you put your input in, but we have a motion on the floor and a second. Does anybody have anything new to add to what the discussion is?
will the equipment that they're gonna get at that new level rank not come out of the station's money, it'll come out of the city money?
Yes.
Anything else? Okay. Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
No.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes, however, I would like to make a comment, that my vote is because of Bill Hallborough's decision not to certify their department. And I will not leave the citizens of Bill Hallborough without appropriate fire protection, and approved fire protection, so that their insurance numbers don't go through the roof. So with that being said, as I said, my vote is yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
No,
Mayor Long.
Yes. Do we have any other unfinished business?
I have none, Your Honor.
New business, 7A, consideration of ordinance number 2025-11.
This was sent out to council earlier today with an additional correction. The ordinance is for the setting of non-union
Sorry.
employee rates of pay for the next fiscal year, which is 2026. The original estimate was 3.5%. And for everyone except for city clerks, anyone with the title clerk would receive 4%. Today, subsequently, the rate of increase in real estate assessed value came in. That does affect AFSCME, who is guaranteed that rate under their agreement, which is 3.7%. So the recommendation to council would be 3.7%. For non-union employees, with the exception of city clerks, who would receive 4%. In part, that is because of a sizable increase in the cost of employee contribution to health insurance.
Do I have a motion?
We're all second.
Okay, get the motion there, second word.
Well,
Questions or comments on the motion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon.
yes.
Councilmember Brinker.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. 7B, notice of Lock Haven,
City authority.
thank you.
Too many little abbreviation. This year is a notice is going out to the Lock Haven City Authority that the city will be able to pay its lease agreement annual rate. This year is estimated to be about $120,000. The city authority holds that in a capital reserve account for the city for improvements to the
7C, notice the DCD.
DCD has notified the city that our contract for the home program has been terminated, and we have spent most of that money, as I recall, about half of it. And so if the city is interested in doing another program, then it would need to reapply if the program is still in the federal budget.
This is a result of mistakes made by the agency that we hired to oversee it. It's disappointing to me. Makes me angry. We pay professionals because we expect to get a professional job. Hopefully, I mean, they say that we can reply and we continue. I think that we need to look at who we would have manage it should we do it again.
And I think that you should think long and hard about doing it at all. Until the federal government too also straightens the regulations out, and all it does, you know, it's costing us money to do something good. So, yeah.
It's a very important program, you know.
I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't even consider it in 2027.
How much has it helped the city? Yeah,
We've been doing it for years. This most recent one was from 2020, award, and between COVID and this recent monitoring, we have 4 active projects. I think we completed, it was like 2.5 because we came in and helped a CDBG program like that. So worked well. People are grateful. There are stipulations with income that take a lot of the administration. Which is why we do contract that out on Casino Cog and rely on those grant funds, but we'll just see how we can move forward best for our residents. I think a lot of our residents would benefit from it in whole or in part. This home program is like, once you go in, you have to fix all the code deficiencies. With the recent PA budget, or maybe it was last year's, there are basically, you don't have to fix everything. You can fix some things that, like, you can replace the windows without fixing a railing that's a little wobblier. I'm very bare bones saying that, but there are other programs now active where we can be more impactful with a pot of money that we have and kind of spread the wealth more. These projects now, they're an average of $65,000 per home, and they just take time, of course. And we have local contractors doing that and a small pool of them, so it's been difficult to spend that funds, but we'll look at other alternatives to get that going.
Yeah, that sounds very good, Abby, except for the last one that we did, and they come 5 years later and say, you did it wrong, pay us back. And so that comes directly out of our funds. That's costing us money to do the program. So that's the part I think was like $77,000.
That is included in this year's budget.
It is included to pay that back. So that's just me.
well,
I just
but
want
it
to,
happened
I want to do
because
another one
those
to
who
straighten it out.
who were
And there was
doing it, did things wrong with it.
And there was no audit from DCED.
They do
slacked.
the audits, and it doesn't
slack.
matter if you're wrong, you're still wrong, whether the audit happened, you know, the year after you did it or 3 years
But
after
they
you
would
did
have
it.
caught it and the corrections could have been made, not waited 5 years and had us move on to do.
That doesn't change that it was done wrong, anyways,
You're just sensitive about the audit guys,
pardon me?
about the audit guys. They slacked. DCD, they dropped the ball.
No, the people that messed it up to begin with dropped the ball, they just got caught. 7D, notice of Q3 Comcast franchise fee.
So that it's reflected in the minutes, $20,000 is coming from Comcast for the fee for the franchise to the city.
Thank you. Any other new business?
I have one piece, it does not require council action, but the lack of consistent rainfall has cut the water available for public supply from the city's reservoir. Based on current reservoir levels, the city must implement stage 2 drought conditions, mandatory non-essential use restrictions of our drought contingency plan. A mandatory 20% reduction is required of all customers who receive their quarterly bills from the city of Lock Haven, whether in the city, Allison Township, Castanea Township, or Wayne Township. For the average home, that is 175 gallons per week less in use. Ways to reduce consumption can be found on the city's website or by doing a search online of how to reduce your water usage. but the easiest way to save 100 gallons a week is to not run the water while brushing your teeth. The following non-essential uses of water are now prohibited until the city announces the end of the drought. The use of hoses, sprinklers, or other means for sprinkling or watering shrubbery, trees, lawns, grass, plants, vines, gardens, vegetables, flowers, or any other vegetation. The use of water for washing automobiles, trucks, trailers, trailer houses, or any other type of mobile equipment. The washing of streets, driveways, parking lots, service station aprons, office buildings, exteriors of homes, sidewalks, apartments, or other outdoor surfaces. The operation of any ornamental fountain or similar structure. The use of water from fire hydrants for construction purposes or fire drills. The use of water to flush a sewer line or sewer manhole. The use of water for commercial farms and nurseries other than a bare minimum to preserve plants, crops, and livestock. The largest industrial and commercial users, who are the county's major employers, are also being informed of the required reduction from them. Law enforcement will be authorized to investigate reported violations of these prohibited uses, but the city is confident that we will work together as a region to reduce consumption and make the limited water we have on hand last until rain and snow refill the reservoirs. This will be in the newspapers. This will be on the city's website. A letter will be sent to every single customer of the city's water system. Suburban is required to do the same to their users, some of whom do live in the city. And so it's very serious. And so look up ways to reduce your water footprint and take those seriously. Right now, the last time that we did a mandatory reduction, consumption increased. So this time, people will have to take this seriously because we cannot afford to run out of water. The wells are not online. And so water reduction has to be a reality. Last time, the one customer who did the most to cut consumption voluntarily was First Quality. So residents have to make this work this time.
Anything else?
I have none, thinking you're on.
Does anyone else have anything to bring? Yes.
Hi Brandon, 11 South Fairview Street. Yesterday, there's a community assembly group that has started doing a pop-up pantry every Sunday, and we were grateful to be able to use this room. Yesterday, there were hundreds and hundreds of canned goods and fresh vegetables to give out to families who were facing food insecurity. And at the end of the day, a gentleman who was unhoused came into the room and a little bit for warmth, a little bit for food. We offered him what we could, but many of the items that we had needed to be cooked, which he does not have access to. He doesn't have access to a stove, a microwave, any way to heat anything. So he took some granola bars and a couple bags of cereal and he went on his way. Before he did though, he talked to us at great length about how he lives. And for those of us who were here, we really kind of heard his message in that it's 20 degrees outside overnight. And if you don't have a sleeping bag, you're really in an unfortunate situation, a dangerous situation. So we actually scrambled and got him a sleeping bag that is good for cold weather. But there are other unhoused folks in the area. Today I reached out to Abby and kind of got a gist of what the situation is from the city in terms of finding a warming station. But we're making a plea to the city to try and find something for these folks because whether you believe that it's their fault or not, they are homeless and unhoused. As a human, they need warmth or they are going to die. So if there is any, vacant building, if there's any churches we can work with, I'm happy to do some legwork to make this happen. But truly since yesterday, this gentleman has been on my mind. I'm sure you've seen him, he walks all over the place. He does have mental health issues, he does have substance abuse issues, doesn't mean he shouldn't be warm at night. So that's what I have.
Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I just have a quick question. I'm sorry, I'm so.
It's okay. I said it.
And so, like, is like the fire stations, like, are they open? Like, is there a place somewhere in one of the fire stations that they could get warm?
That would be up to the individual companies, they're privately owned.
Okay,
That would be for them to be.
okay, all right, okay. I tried.
Yeah, I've been like thinking of this man since yesterday.
I'm not sure.
It's all right, it's just that I don't know, I asked it, you have it, nobody said anything.
I-
Adjourn.
Well, Greg, I won't be watering my lawn next year, so I'll help out. Well, I did take out the thing about filling your swimming. Yeah, I.
Glad that I don't think you did that.